who got here from my blog post about t-shirt yarn, hi. Anyone who's just kind of finding me online, this is me making t-shirt yarn. I did a blog post about it, and I wanted to show you how I learned to make it. So basically, here's this t-shirt. And I didn't go out and buy a t-shirt. A lot of the t-shirt yarn place videos are like, oh, go and find a t-shirt. I'm like, feels like that defeats the purpose of making shirts making yarn out of shirts, because it's kind of like, I see it as a very recycling project. So basically, you're going to start off, you want us to cut. You see I got my cutting mat underneath me. I have my rotary blade right here. You're going to want to cut underneath where the sleeve goes across. Now, I find it's a little bit easier, because my shirts are kind of big and my table is kind of small, to go ahead and fold it over one. I may even pin it. It depends. It just makes it a little easier. Okay. Now, if you're doing like I was doing with this project as a whole, is I actually intended to keep some of the pictures in the fronts of shirts. So I used a blank, a record. I used a vinyl record as my starting piece to cut out the picture first, and then go ahead and cut t-shirt yarn from what was left. But if you're not doing that, you can just start from underneath the armpits. I'm using the lines of my cutting mat to line it up, pull it through, blam. Alright. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Alright. This, I don't know. I gotta figure out something to do with those. Because I'm keeping some of them, the rest of them I'm getting rid of. Okay. So now, you're left with this nice little rectangle that you can work with. Now what I was doing before is actually pinning it to keep it in place a little better, because since these are recycled shirts, they are kind of bowed a little bit. But this one actually is working out pretty well, so I'm okay. I'm just going to lay it out like this, because even though we're recycling, you also don't really want to use the hem at the very bottom, because it's too heavy. So I'm going to line it up as best I can. It's got a nice little bowed shape. That's just going to have to be how it is. Luckily, my rotary cutter lets me kind of sort of follow it. And I do have the shirt inside out, because it makes it a little bit easier to see the bottom hem. And there is a little bit of print on the very top side up here, because the print kind of went down under the armpits. I kind of don't care. Like, whatever. I'm going to be doing some kind of silly project with this, so it doesn't really matter. Now this is the part where things start getting a little bit tricky. Okay, you're going to lay it out like this. Kind of this nice rectangle, you know, it's really cool. And you're going to want to take it and fold it, and find a nice edge you can work on your cutting mat if you're using one like mine. Take the bottom edge, and you want to give yourself, like an inch, half inch. This part doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter that much. You want to take it, kind of fold it up, try to keep it kind of even, because you're trying to make straight lines, so you want to make it as even as possible. You can see here when I folded it over, I'm leaving about an inch-ish between the fold on one side and the fold on the other, okay? Because you come down here, here's the bottom of the t-shirt. I'm going to be cutting in this direction. Now that I have it folded, I'm going to line it up. I'm going to use the lines on my cutting mat, which is why a cutting mat and rotary cutter makes it so much easier. I tried doing it with scissors, and it was a pain in the butt. So, I don't really care. I mostly want the bottom to be nice and lined up so I can get nice straight lines. And it's not going to be perfect if you're using recycled tee, because it's stretched. You know, you've worn it, it's stretched. And I'm going to go ahead and I found that half an inch was too thin. 3/4 of an inch is okay. So I've been doing between an inch and 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to do an inch with this one. Okay, now the key here, and I got to move my whole pile a little bit, is lining it up using my ruler. Now I'm not going to cut all the way through. I'm going to cut just past this little gap I made up here. I want to be nice and firm. I'm going to cut to right about there. So I have a little bit, about thumb's width of cut that I didn't make. So this part right here, not cut. So you're going to want to leave at least a strip, at least a good 1/4 to 1/2 inch strip across the top of uncut. So I'm going to keep doing that. And you're going to see why in a little bit. The cat bought my leg, so take that little part off. It's sacrificed, it's fine. You can see how I cut here, I didn't cut all the way to the top. I've left little bitty nicks. I tried to kind of keep along the edge, but I was like, it doesn't really matter. And you're going to see why this is important. This lets us do the continuous strand. Okay. So now that it's done, I'm going to use my scissors for the next part of this. I'm going to kind of pick it up. I like to separate it first because sometimes when you're cutting, it doesn't quite cut all the way through. You want to make sure that happens. And it did. We're good. Okay. I'm going to pick it up. And this is you can choose, this is how I choose to do it because it's a little bit easier. I'm going to take my arm and I'm going to feed it through the place where I had created the fold. Okay. It's tricky. You can do it. Okay, so once I kind of have it, you know, spread out, whatever, so I can see that, you know, both sides, both rows of cuts, take my scissors, and starting down here, I'm going to cut a nice diagonal from the outside edge to that point. This is how we get the continuous yarn situation, and then cut. Then it's just filling it, then cutting here to here. And you don't really have to worry about the weird lines you're getting. Like, it's going to come out in the wash, so to speak. So cut that there. Pull it down. And the next part is what makes the random scraps of t-shirt, into actual yarn. I have the yarn up next to me. I'm going to take it, and while I'm kind of pulling it, I'm not just going to be, you know, running it through. While I'm kind of pulling it, I run it through my hand. And you don't want to go too fast because you will hurt yourself. And then just let it kind of spiral down on the floor. Now, what this does by doing the pull through and the kind of like the stretch is, first of all, it kind of stretches it out a little bit, so you end up with a little bit more yarn than you would have actual t-shirt scrap. And it also causes the t-shirt to do its natural kind of fold over that it does. So now that we're here, we have this nice pile of yarn on the floor. We're going to go ahead and do a center pull wind on it. So how we're going to wind this guy, and this is a variation on the pill bottle method, so to speak, is I have one of these. This is a veterinary medicine bottle that I got. One of the cats had an allergic reaction to fleas. So I'm going to take it, open it up, and I like using this one instead because I can squeeze it to pop open. Beep. So I'm just going to take it and drop that in. Close it, and then you wind. Right, and once it's all wound up, like this. This is why I like using this bottle, because I can just squeeze it, pops up, go from the bottom and push out. And if you're using a regular pill bottle, all you do is take the cap off and you do the exact same thing. And pull it. I like it because it's a little bit smoother. And now you have, if you do it gently, not like I did kind of messy, you have a center pull yarn. It's imperfect. I did this one kind of quick. Yeah, so now I have nice, handy dandy, kind of messy, but still works for me, t-shirt yarn.